Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I like to discuss the furore the right-wing press, and in particular some far-right figures, are trying to generate in order to attack the police when carrying out their duty. They're happy to call for the imprisonment or dismissal of anyone saying something they don't like, but at the slightest hint of criticism of their own, they scurry like rats to blow the entire thing out of all proportion in a deliberate attempt to browbeat the authorities from having the nerve to hold them to account. But first, for daily political commentary, please click the subscribe button so you don't miss out. So, Telegraph columnist Allison Pearson says that she was contacted by police regarding hate speech related to a tweet which she says is from last year but claims not to know what the tweet was about. It is therefore not clear to me how she can say it's from last year without knowing what the tweet was. Is she seriously trying to suggest that the police spoke to her in person, which is what she is claiming, told her she was being investigated concerning a tweet, but refused to say which one? I think that's probably a bit unlikely. But an entire storm has blown up over the past few days from people on the right, and especially from the usual suspects on the far right, about freedom of speech and all that. Now, the impression they try to give is that they are free speech absolutists, right? They believe in the right of everyone to say exactly what they want without giving any consideration to the consequences or accuracy of what they say. That's what they say is freedom of speech. Now, this is a point of view that some people genuinely hold. However, it is not what people like Allison Pearson or her current backers believe. They only believe in themselves being able to say exactly what they like, not anyone outside their group. Because we need only go back 4 years to when Allison Pearson had an argument with someone on Twitter. They claimed she was pushing an anti-NHS narrative. Now, I mean, I can find evidence that medical groups feel that Pearson has certainly written inaccurate articles on the NHS in the past. However, it doesn't matter whether the person arguing with Pearson had a genuine grievance or not. You know, was Pearson actually pushing an anti-NHS agenda or not? Doesn't really matter. The point is, he tweeted some things which she took exception to, rightly or wrongly. Now, did she respond by arguing her case, but otherwise respecting the free speech of her adversary? No. She made credible threats to have him sacked. Threats that he took seriously, and when the person in question apologised and said, oh, doing so would plunge his household into financial ruin and he was already suicidal, Pearson said that she still wanted to have him sacked for exercising what she claims is his freedom of speech. So however you slice it, Allison Pearson is not a believer that people should be able to say whatever they like, which means that she is provably someone who thinks that there are limits to what you should or should not be allowed to say. As such, she can only claim to be unfairly targeted if what she says is a reasonable thing to say. That's just indisputable. Pearson doesn't believe in absolute free speech without boundaries because her past behaviour proves it. So what did Pearson do? Well, she won't say. She claims she can't say, but the Guardian seem to think they know and they've reported it. It relates to a post last year in which some police officers were posing with some British Asians. This was very shortly after the Hamas attacks on Israel. Now, Pearson had tweeted it was absolute disgrace that the Met Police should not pose with British friends of Israel, but would pose with what she called Jew haters. Except there were a few things that made her look as thick as mince. First of all, the police in question were Manchester Police, not Met Police. So any guidelines the Met Police have on taking photographs with members of the public do not apply to Manchester Police. Second, the people that these Manchester officers were photographed with were British Pakistanis holding a Pakistani flag. So basically Pearson had seen some police officers posing with a group of people who had dark skin and assumed a whole chain of things here. First, she assumes that anyone with a particular look must be from the Middle East. Second, she assumes that anyone who has roots, even in the Middle East, any connection at all with the Middle East, must hate Jews. Because there's nothing in the photograph that is even anti-Israel, let alone anti-Jewish. So she's just drawn that link from the colour of these people's skin. Basically, it was a conclusion that only a racist could draw. There was nothing in the image that referenced Israel or Palestine, and yet she sees a group of lads posing with the police, and because they're not white, she assumes they hate Jews. So yeah, as with everything like this, I'm not a legal expert, but you can certainly see how it warrants consideration for hate speech. You know, you look at the legislation. I'm going to guess nothing's going to happen or nothing serious because, you know, she wasn't threatening anyone as such, but someone could make the argument, well, it still intended to incite racial or religious hatred, right? As such, she gets to make no complaint that the police have at least paid her a visit. She's not been arrested. She's not been prosecuted as yet. You know, the police have just said to her, we've had this complaint, we're investigating. That's it. That's all she's been told. And she's throwing a wobbly. You know, she can explain, well, she deleted the tweet as soon as someone pointed out how stupid she was, because she did. That being said, let's have a think about it, though. What if it had been the Met Police, not the Manchester Police? And what if the people photographed with them were of Middle Eastern origin? So the intention to stoke racial hatred could still exist. You know, the CPS guidance says that you can be prosecuted for a hate crime if you have demonstrated hostility based on race. Well, Pearson did, didn't she? She was hostile. She was clearly hostile. And her hostility is based on the colour of people's skin. If it had been a group of white men holding up exactly the same flag, which she obviously didn't recognise, with the same police officers, would Pearson have tweeted the same statement? I don't think so. But isn't it interesting that people who are quick to call for people to be sacked or imprisoned for saying something they don't like all rally around to protect one of their own? Another clear case of hypocrisy. In fact, a clear case of cult behaviour. Because when you cannot even respond consistently to behaviour, where your response to behaviour is determined not by the behaviour, but by who exhibited that behaviour and whether they are considered part of your tribe or not. But anyway, there it is. I mean, that is the state of our media. This is just showing some of the rotten underbelly of our media. And if you want to make a stand against disinformation, there is actually a petition going around. And we're going to try and get it to the 100,000 signatures it needs. It's got a good 6 months to do it, plenty of time. Therefore, there will be a debate on it. And we know that the government are looking at disinformation. So this could be really useful. I'll put a link in the description below. If you're based in the UK and therefore you qualify to be able to sign a House of Commons petition, then please do so. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can join for memberships. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later.